Welcome back to another episode of Men on the Internet. Probably the greatest show with only 2 episodes.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Greatest show that I'm on.
Greatest show that I'm on as well. My name is Kelby. Over there we have
Sunil.
In the back we have
Hola, it's Chris.
Hola. I like to call him the Chief of Immigration.
Don't put that on
Border Patrol.
That's not my job. Hello.
Hey, it's okay. Nobody's really doing that job anyways right now.
Ooh.
I don't want to come after me though.
And we got a special guest over there we'll talk about it a little bit later. All right, so welcome back to Men on the Internet. How you guys doing? You guys had a good week?
Chilling.
Yeah, week's been great. Can't complain. A lot of exciting things.
Did you get back on SportsCenter again?
SportsCenter?
Yeah.
Nah, I've never been on SportsCenter. You mean Sports Illustrated?
Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated, the one where they have the ladies dressing half naked on the cover?
The swimsuit edition? Yeah.
They do have that. Yeah. I did like one show last week.
You did one bikini show?
Nah. Just with Sports Illustrated.
They don't even like you like that. Nah. Get on the beach, man.
I respect women and everything that's beautiful about them.
We didn't say anything else.
Oh, okay. I thought that was one of those moments. My bad.
Somebody's guilty.
Oh, excuse me.
What you been up to, Chris?
Working. I'm on my last week of work for this old job.
Oh, you put your 2 weeks in?
Yeah.
What'd they say when you put it in?
They were bummed about it, but
They were bummed?
yeah.
They're letting you work out your 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, they love you.
Well,
They just don't got nobody else to replace you.
no.
That means they love you. Most people, if they don't love you and you put in your 2 weeks, they're giving you that check. We don't need you.
Go ahead. But no, it's my boss. She needs it because it's just me and her in the office.
But before she made it seem like it was just whatever. But now it seems like...
What do you mean?
Like, one time I asked you about that, and you said she was just kind of like, oh, okay, if you leave, you leave. If he dies, he dies.
No. She was supportive if I left. She understands that
You need something a little bit more.
Yeah. That this is not the field I'm trying to go into.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so you excited? Do you have goodbye goggles? Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so it's like when
Is
you
that like
work.
beer goggles?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Like
Are you saying goodbye, like goodbye goggles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
like
heard
the
something.
end, like it's the end of the road type thing.
No.
You know, when you get out of your job and you're like, you've always said, I hate this job, and then the moment you put your 2 weeks in,
job.
because of that job you speak Spanish.
No. I spoke Spanish before that. I just use it more.
Yo, you steady trying to put. At one point, you are like putting him on a pedestal as far as his Mexican heritage, and then at the same level, you're being like, you ain't Mexican enough.
He's not. He's only half.
Wow,
That's fair, but the other half is also brown. So
hey.
I never said that. The reason why I said that is because Chris told me himself. He was like, when I met Chris, he could only pretty much say "hola." Okay, and
that's
then
not necessarily true. I was just scared to speak Spanish because I felt like I was saying it wrong.
Yes.
I wasn't able to utilize the comfort. Excuse me. Utilize the
He's getting
conversation.
emotional over this.
You see me?
He is. You see,
emotional.
I put a lot of hard screens on this show.
Yeah. No, I always felt like I didn't speak Spanish with enough people, so I didn't want to say the wrong thing and sound stupid.
Wait, where did you live?
What do you mean?
Like where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Echo Park.
What
You
part
grew
of
up
Mexico
in
is
Southern California and you didn't have enough people to speak Spanish to?
I like get my job.
Wait a minute.
get my
Wait a minute. There are some holes in the story, sir.
No. Not like get my job.
Tijuana.
Wow.
So at this one, you pretty much only had to speak Spanish, so you had to practice a lot more.
Yeah. So you got way better. I'm correct.
Yeah.
See?
But the moral of the story, congratulations on the new job, Chris. That's huge.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. That's ginormous. So you excited about doing it?
Yeah, finally something I enjoy doing.
Working in your element?
And I think I get to work at home for the first couple weeks.
Nice.
Wow.
It'll be different.
Yeah, I can
Because
imagine.
I had to go in the office this entire pandemic. So
Damn, you going to be working at home when everybody's here?
no, I think my girlfriend has to go back into the classroom to teach.
Oh, what a perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Did they shut you guys down, or you went back in?
And now we still up and at it. Nobody's caught COVID recently, so we're good.
Well, I had this incident the other day where somebody like came to one of our shoots, and it was very odd. Like, the world feels odd right now. I feel like we're in that place where there's a scab, but the scab wants to fall off in the shower. So he came in, and he just seemed real.
Did you just say the world seems odd?
Yeah.
Captain Obvious strikes again. It's been feeling this way for like a year.
No. People were getting comfortable in the manicness of things, but now things like feel like they're in this transition period. And I say that because this guy who was on set, he was very agitated with himself until he was just like, "Y'all, I'm fully vaccinated. Could I take this mask off?" And we were all like, "Yeah, dude, like, it's totally fine." And that is when it hit me that I was just kind of like, "Oh, we might be post-pandemic in a few months."
I mean, the UFC just put on an event yesterday with 15,000 people live, and there was not. Most people weren't wearing a mask. Florida is a different world.
But you know what? Friday night I went to Orange, and I went to a place I'm not gonna say because I don't know if they're gonna get in trouble or not. But the people that worked at this bar did not wear masks. Tripped me out a little bit. I'm glad I already had COVID, so you know it's lit out here, but not really. I'm being safe.
Yeah,
but I know I am because I don't really go out anyway. You know, it's either I'm going to work and whatever.
Going
but
back home,
yeah, you know. But I went to this thing and it did trip me out a little bit because I was like, I'm out amongst people. The people that work here are not wearing masks. I had mine on me. I think somebody called me a pussy, and I was like, for wearing a mask. So of course I took it off.
You was yelling at me for this like 3 months ago.
What'd you say?
You said you were yelling at me for not wearing it 3 months ago. So now why?
I was?
No. Like the people in general.
Yeah, definitely. It's in that position now. Do you guys think COVID is done in like 2 months?
I mean, it's not done, but it's manageable.
I mean, I think the issue is there's so many states that you're seeing everybody in Florida kind of living their life. You know, you're seeing everybody in Texas living their life. So people in California are probably looking over there and being like, well, what are we doing here, guys? Like, how are they not dying over there, but supposedly we're dying over here because we've been the strictest lockdown of probably any state.
No. Do you guys know that Canada is locked down again?
Yeah.
And people are freaking out over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything. That's what.
But you know what's scary too? India is getting it hard right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, India's issue is a little bit different.
What is it?
So the U.S. did a good job being able to get everything going for the vaccines.
Okay.
And then I guess the president put a ban on any of the products. And maybe I shouldn't say this because I'm not fully educated about it, but from a little bit that I've researched, so there's been a ban put on any exportation of any product that's used to make the vaccine. So they've kind of limited it to make sure that everybody in the U.S., if they need to make more vaccines and stuff like that, they have all the products and ingredients needed for that. So none of that could be exported to these other countries. So like a country like India that has obviously 1 billion people, they don't have enough of the ingredients to be able to create enough vaccines for everybody.
But is it about creating the vaccine or is it about shipping, exporting, receiving the vaccine? Because I know in the Philippines, they're receiving the vaccine.
Yeah, like that I think is limited based off of countries that are willing to send the vaccine. But India obviously has a whole bunch of brainiacs that could actually create it. They just need the ingredients.
But you see, that's where I'm going to have to give you a little bit of pushback. I don't think that the numbers in the United States are falling because people have been getting vaccinated.
I mean, supposedly that is one of the reasons.
I think it's hard to prove.
Sure.
Because the vaccine, such a small amount of people have gotten the vaccine.
What isn't hard to prove when it comes to COVID. It's just what you want to believe or what you don't want to believe at this point, right? Well, at the end of the day, any side is going to bring up their stats to show that they're proving one way or the other. Yeah. And then every other side is going to refute it with their stats that's proving one way or the other. Problem is, nobody really knows what to believe.
Well, what I could say is everybody just make sure you stay safe and be glad that if you're okay, and you're okay. Like, I'm just glad that everybody's able to make it out onto the other side.
Right.
You know, what a time. But I still feel like we're in that Band-Aid's falling off, but the scab, like the scab is about to come off, man. I kind of feel like this summer people are gonna go nuts. And I seen it in Orange. When I saw those people not wearing masks, I saw this one girl at that bar thing. I walked right on up to her. I've never been so bold in my life. Walked right on up to her. I was like,
yo, you threw that in there. I was like, what is he talking about right now?
I walked right on up to her. I was like, how old are you?
Wow.
She was like, how old do you think I am? I was like, you look not a day older than 19. She was like, I just turned 20 yesterday. And I was like,
why are you in a bar like that in the first place?
You know what? It was like older. Okay, it was near
older. They're 20.
No. It was
near at downtown Fullerton.
Stop. I was in Orange. I was near Chapman University, and it was filled with older people until I looked around, and there was a couple of people that you could spot. Like, they clearly go to Chapman, and they got fake IDs. You know? And it was like, why did you choose the old people bar? Because I'm amongst my old people. You know, I was the kid there. I'm 30. I was amongst the 40, 50-year-olds. Everything was going well. We can all talk about early 2000s because we all lived it.
Why'd you approach the 20-year-old is the real question.
No, because, okay, so I came out the bathroom. And I came out the bathroom. As she was looking at me, she looked me up and down like I was somebody. So I said, all right, if somebody going to look me up and down, I might as well just have to go over there and have a conversation.
Wow. She was probably wondering who stank.
No, it wasn't me.
And now we can explain what happened to Chris D'Elia.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That ain't happened to me. Man, don't talk about Chris God like that. Chris love him some D'Elia. Chris, you got a Chris D'Elia tattoo?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know why you hear a celebrity. Oh, Chris love that celebrity. I don't know who that is.
You know Chris D'Elia.
He got one of them baby shirts.
Yeah. Chris, don't act like you ain't love rapping Eminem.
I know Chris D'Elia, but
what did he say in that rapping Eminem thing?
Who knows, man?
Magnet. Magnet.
Use a with your mini napkins.
Yeah, napkins. Give me the napkins. But yeah, nah, I wasn't Chris D'Elia, but I definitely knew she was over 18. But I was just like, you a little too young for here. And when you look me up and down, understand I'm your senior. So
wow, you call me sir?
Yes, I was. And she was twisting her neck around. Hey, I was like, you say hello when you speak,
sir.
When you speak to me, it's hello.
Wow. You sound like a fun time at a bar.
I was cool with the guy that looked like Paul Rudd. That guy bought me everything. I was a little scared. I was
hold up. So you talked to the 19-year-old and then got drinks bought for you by the dude.
She was 20, and yes.
Oh, okay.
Yo, if somebody wants to buy me a drink, I don't know about you, but if anybody wants to buy me a beverage or some food, who am I to say no? I'm a young
just
kid.
No trips to Atlanta.
Nah,
you got you there.
I went to Atlanta one time in 2005-ish. And I thought it was nice. They had these big, beautiful homes and all this stuff. But I'll never forget this conversation where I had this I was talking with this one lady who was like, I want to get married so bad. And I moved to Atlanta because I heard that the guys here were just like Southern gentlemen and all that kind of stuff. And then I spoke to her like maybe a year ago, and she was still saying the same thing. She was like, one day I'm going to meet a really great guy. I moved to Georgia for this. And I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I actually think that might be the wrong city.
Ain't Future from Atlanta? Aren't Amigos from Atlanta?
You think that she want to get married to?
I'm just saying, they don't seem like Southern gentlemen.
What? Don't talk down about our kings like that.
I'm not talking down. I'm just saying they're not Southern gentlemen.
What's wrong with Offset and Aquavius?
Quavo?
Quavius.
Yeah, Quavius.
That's his full name.
Yeah.
Didn't Quavo and Sweetie just go through something?
They broke up like any other couple be breaking up.
But wasn't it on some not Southern gentleman type stuff?
They fought over the PS4 bag. What's the problem?
Oh, I thought it had to do with extramarital affairs
They wasn't married.
or whatever.
What that got to do with anything?
It had to do with one having a roster and one not.
Listen, okay, then we'll put it out there. Sweetie was out there in the streets. So,
Oh, so it's her fault.
I don't really know.
Who am I to say? Stupid.
I don't really know.
You ride it with Quavo no matter what, though.
That's our guy.
Hey,
Quavius.
Quavius, Offsetius,
Migas.
and Takeoffius.
Take Coffeeus.
Yeah, good guys. Good
Wow.
guys. I love it, man. Culture 3 coming
hey.
out
Speaking
soon.
about Atlanta, last week you were talking about something with Will Smith in Atlanta.
All right, so Will Smith had a production for one of his new movies. I think it was called
Gemini Man.
Nah. That one already came out. You might be surprised. It's called like Freedom or something like that, or something like that. All right, so he had a movie in Atlanta, and that horrible voting law came out that said you can't give people water,
Oh, yeah.
and you got to have voter ID. And so Will Smith decided that he was going to take his movie out of a place with 51% black people to like Wisconsin or something like that, where there's like 9% black people. And he took his movie out of there until those voting laws, I don't know, change or whatever. And then he put his movie in a different state, in a different city.
Got you.
So it made me think, is Will Smith punishing the people of Atlanta?
Sure.
No, think about it before you answer again.
No, because I don't think he's the only one. There's been a lot of different this isn't the first like business entity that has taken something out of Atlanta. Like the MLB did it as well. Mm-hmm. And I was just, Dana White was from the UFC was doing an interview yesterday, and he talked about just that one event that he had in Jacksonville, how much it boosted the economy for Absolutely. Jacksonville, as far as restaurants, as far as hotels, as far as clubs, as far as all those types of things. So when you have these huge events, whether it be a movie being shot there or whether it be like the MLB having their all-star game there, it does nothing but increase money that's going to these businesses surrounding in those specific cities in that specific state, all which is definitely going to the people that are working there, that are, living there, that are benefiting from, the tax dollars that'll be taken out of that from sales tax, whatever. So pulling that is definitely hurting the people that would have benefited from that.
Now, here's the thing. Right now is a crucial time in local economics. Okay, what does that mean? That means that there are commercials being played on the radio and on television saying, please vacation locally. Gavin, I'm not going to vacation in California if I don't have to. I'm going straight to Baja, Mexico. I'm going to spend my pesos there. But clearly, these states are fiending for your money. So it is a crucial time for big projects with millions and millions of dollars in budgets, people flying in from all over the place who are going to be occupying these businesses to make it happen. We all know that Tyler Perry ain't leaving.
He got roots.
And I also say, what does that do? Who are you standing with? Right? Because ultimately, I get it. You don't like the voting laws. But at the same time, those voting laws affect people in a huge picture, but in everybody's day-to-day life, they're gonna need something. especially, they call Atlanta the Black New York City, New York City of the South. So this is where our people created their own businesses and and path their own forges in life to go out and cater to these large projects that are coming their way. So
it's kind of like punishing them twice if you truly believe that these laws are infringing upon their rights, right? So not only are they being affected through government policies if you disagree with those policies, but then on top of that, now they're being hurt as far as economically because you choose not to do business with the state that supposedly is, oppressing them and whatnot. So it doesn't make sense. You're kind of hurt, like stabbing them twice.
Yeah, it's kind of sucks. I do appreciate what he's trying to do, because he's like trying to take a stand, and he's, it's like the Montgomery bus damn, what am I trying to say?
The boycott?
The bus boycott. But that wasn't hurting the people. It was helping the people.
Right.
Versus this one being like, I'm not going to work with you because your governor or your local government is doing something that hurts you. It has nothing to do realistically with Will Smith. He doesn't live there.
If anything,
I was going to say that. He lives
here.
He's in LA. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to pull business and pull like economic funds from these states. If anything, there should just be more money put into programs that would, navigate through these bills, right? So if you feel like you're oppressing people's ability because they need voter ID, well then how about we start organizations that help people get IDs? Or if it's like, it makes it harder for them to actually get to these precincts, well, how about we start organizations that actually drives people to these precincts, or whatever fits underneath the law? It would seem that more money and more, organization would be more of a solution than now, hey, let's just ostracize you, put you on an island. Now you can't benefit from the All-Star game being there. You can't benefit from this movie being there. That we're gonna like pull all these opportunities for tourism to come into your state and stuff like that. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem efficient. But
you know what's crazy about this? The story of Haiti. So Alexander Hamilton was a huge fan of the slaves that turned on their French masters, right? He was a huge fan of that. He sent American soldiers to go out there and help these people fight for their freedom. So, and then Alexander Hamilton turned around and he said to Thomas Jefferson, we got to help these people because they're fighting for their freedom. And Thomas Jefferson said, yeah, we should definitely do that. But then the American slaves said, if they could fight for their freedoms, guess what we gonna do? And Thomas Jefferson said, we're not going to do that. So he actually turned his back on the people of Haiti and ceased doing business with the people of that country, which damaged that country for generations. I mean, still today, poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I don't know if you guys know that, but these are decisions that were made in the 1800s that suppresses people today.
And what I don't understand, the best way to give people power is to get them as independent as possible. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is, let's take the example of the Haitians. So because everybody there is in such desperation, or a majority of people there are in such desperation, it gives the opportunity for the people that aren't in desperation it gives them more of an ability to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like take advantage of the people there, because really, if you are wealthy or you have power through finances and things like that, mm-hmm. you can do whatever you want there, because people are willing to give up power because they need money, right? So if you can set the bar very, very low as far as what people's expectations are because they're in such desperation. The same things happen in India. Like in India, there's obviously, the problem was that there was just a big divide between the rich and the poor. It's such a big, there was no middle class. And until like the middle class started to be developed and things like that, it was really easy corruption just was rampant in India because it's those that have and have not. And I know a lot of those same things are being used here in the States as far as like there's corruption and there's people taking advantage of, those that are less fortunate and things of that nature. But it's I think until you go to Haiti and see how much different it is there, or go to India and see how much different it is there, you'll realize that it's not. There's obviously issues here, but on a different scale compared to these other countries.
Right. I feel like there is, like it's easy sort of to say like there's no right answer, but sometimes you do have to do a little dance with the devil, man. That's the unfortunate truth.
I just think that I understand taking the dollars out because feeling like, okay, the money is going to go to these like government officials and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, like there was a purpose for them doing the movie there in the first place. Right.
Right. Financial one.
Oh, was it more financial or was it based off the story?
No, people are shooting in Georgia because of finances.
Okay.
Yeah, because the state is giving you, tax credits. It's cheaper to shoot there. You can go shoot at Tyler Perry Studios where he's going to give you a good rate versus shooting in LA. You could shoot in LA and New York all day long. But whenever a state gives you tax credits, you're going to save more money off of your budget. So you're like, oh, I have more money to play with. There we go. So that's the reason why people are shooting in Georgia.
Well, I guess you got to choose your battles, right? Like at the end of the day, like Will Smith can do whatever he wants with his movie, with his, wherever he wants to spend his money. It's a free country. You spend it wherever you want, but know that you're also taking money out of these same people that you're feeling like are not being helped by these voter laws.
Plus, you have to remember too, like not every single dollar goes to the bad stuff. Ultimately, what are taxes? They're there to support people, to build schools, to build roads, to do all these kind of things.
Not in California. No roads are being built. The same potholes have been there for years.
Where do you live? I got a good street.
No, you don't. I've been to your street.
No. I don't know if you were around for this one, but when the street was all bumpy and really bad, you don't remember that?
It's still bumpy and really bad.
No, you don't remember when it was like legitimately a war field?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, they do their best.
Look, in California, you can't drive in a straight line for too long. You're gonna have to navigate through potholes.
Yeah,
on any street.
Well, this is true. At least in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
but have you been in the Bay Area?
Not recently. It
so
is
beautiful.
better.
It's so beautiful.
Even back home in Bakersfield, it's way better. The streets are better.
I heard Bakersfield is a war zone.
Nah, you heard wrong.
I went up to Bakersfield one time. I had a 19
You've
in
never
my
been.
pocket. Now
You've never been to Bakersfield.
Now I put the 19 in my pocket.
No. You just you just drove past Bakersfield. Tell the truth, Kelby. Tell the truth, Kelby.
I had the 38 in there. They call me 38.
I don't even know what a 19 is in the first place.
Oh boy.
I was like, yo, that's not even a real gun.
Of course it is.
No, that's a real gun.
Yeah, of course it is. Yo, come on, Craig. I don't know.
A 19?
Glock 19.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you call it?
You ain't a thug.
Oh, there's
I'm sure aren't.
I'm sure aren't.
I am not a thug. I don't claim to be either.
Oh, man. All right. So right now, the Oscars are happening.
Does anybody care? I sure don't.
Is that start right now?
Yeah, pretty much as we speak.
Oh, shit.
Hey, can you put it on our screen?
No. We don't have TV.
You don't have live TV on the Roku?
No.
What are you guys doing?
Listen, man.
He's out here starting businesses.
I don't have time to watch TV.
He's out here making moves.
The only nomination that I saw was Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal.
And I thought that was amazing. I loved it.
What was that one?
The one with Riz Ahmed, and he loses his hearing because he was playing rock music too loud, and he goes deaf.
This has to be one of the lowest excitement levels around an Oscars in a long time.
Well,
I don't even know who the host is. Like,
There's no host.
Okay, well, that's a first, right?
No. Last year there was no host either.
Yeah, it was Ricky Gervais.
No, he did the
Oscars.
no, he
No,
He
it was
did
like
that
Academy
huge
Awards or
monologue.
something.
yeah,
like
no,
that.
not that's the same thing.
Oh,
he
is
did
it?
like the SAG Awards,
Yeah.
or something like that. He did SAG or he did Golden Globes, one of those two. But Oscars, they're kind of like on this whole no host or like kind of weird doing it host thing, because the last person who was supposed to do it was, I think, Kevin Hart, and he
got in trouble.
like cheated on his wife or whatever he did.
No, that was the text messages or the tweets about the gay.
Oh, yeah. So he did that, and then they got rid of him, and then they didn't have a host. They haven't had a host since.
Oh, interesting.
But the one thing I'm like a little bit distraught about, imagine somebody being a tiny bit distraught, rough, is that this year we have a lot of good black nominees. So I'm pretty sure Viola Davis got nominated. I know Lakeith Stanfield got nominated. Brother from the same movie with the eyeballs. You know what I'm talking about. Daniel Kaluuya.
I like the dude with the eyeballs.
Yeah, you know he got them eyes.
Everybody got eyes, bro.
No, he got them eyes like he got jaundice eyes.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
Continue.
Yes, so he got nominated. That guy's a sick actor. He's
He
one of
is.
them British guys that come around here and steal all our jobs, but he does it so well.
Yeah,
that it's
they're
okay.
he's a great actor.
He's such a good actor.
Those Europeans
No, he's black.
taking our jobs.
He's not European.
He's British.
He's Afro-European.
Go
You
ahead.
just said European in the name.
You
You better put that afro first, though. Better put that afro in the name.
He's Afro. But he played Chairman Fred Hampton.
He's played a lot of things.
He has. That guy's so good. Have you guys seen any of the movies that got nominated aside from Sound of Metal, which I've never heard of?
I don't even know what got nominated. What got nominated for best film?
Let's look it up, Chris. Oh, my phone died.
Trial of the.
Chicago,
Chicago
7. I can't be watching them.
My cousin said she.
Wow,
he
that's a
watched that
Netflix
one.
film,
He
right?
said it was
Yeah.
good.
Well, no movies came out in theaters. Like very, very few. So yeah, they had to go with the
Oscar
Netflix movies.
But that, I mean, what I mean by Netflix, I mean Netflix production, right?
Probably Netflix as a distributor. Yeah.
Oh shoot, we behind.
Are we?
Do you want me to just omit the winners?
I would say the winners. It's gonna come out in a couple days, anyways.
Best original song, "Fight for You." Her got a
Her is
Oscar winning
Yeah.
song.
Wow, congratulations to her.
Yes.
Every black person about to win this year.
Best original
Right.
score,
For who?
Soul.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, that's deserved. Well deserved.
Soul is amazing.
Well deserved.
Soul.
Well
It's
deserved.
amazing.
That was a great movie.
Oh, that's crazy. That's why Jamie Foxx was saying that he's back at the Oscars since 2005. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that movie.
Damn, all that trash I was talking about Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
You know what?
He stepped it up.
He stepped it up and he stepped it right back down.
Listen, man, you can have many streams of
Yeah,
business.
yeah. As long as you don't hit it with the Cuba Gooding Jr., then you good.
Wow.
Cuba came out with Snow Dogs and he was like, all right, I'm good.
You didn't like Cuba Gooding Jr. and the story of O.J. Simpson?
You know what?
Oh yeah.
Overall, that movie was very, very good, and I thought his acting was very good, but they probably could have got a better OJ. Somebody who's more like OJ.
How do you
He
know
was
what
pretty
OJ's like?
convincing.
Not just like through the interviews and stuff like that. He just like the voice didn't match and the face expressions like didn't match. But if I did not know what OJ was like, then I would have been like, oh, okay, this is fine. So he did a good job.
It's okay. Most people learn about these people through movies anyways.
Yeah, they do. All right, so Soul.
Most people think Malcolm X is Denzel Washington.
He is.
No, he's not.
That's false.
Okay.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X is the guy from the movie which maybe won One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
That's a dude.
Wait, he was listening off. What else? What
What?
else? What else are winners?
I don't understand what that means. Best film editing was Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal.
I
Okay.
thought, like I'm telling you, it was a great.
Can we just go to the big ones, my dude?
No. Keep
I'm just
going. I
kidding.
kind of like
These-
this. I kind of like
You
this.
guys are
I'm-
like the
I'm
art
just-
nerds that worry about best editor.
No, you know what? We about to.
Yo, don't
we
knock
about to
editors, my guy.
Nah, don't knock editors. Editors make our show.
That's my job.
Big dog. I love a beautiful editor.
Nah.
Best animated feature.
So hey,
What else could it have been?
good job, Soul. I thought
the
it
other
was
nominees,
Yeah.
Onward, Shaun the
Oh,
Sheep.
Onward was
Trash.
good too.
Over the
was
Moon.
Onward was great.
compared to Soul.
I mean,
I
Soul's
don't think I
definitely
heard
gonna
of
win.
Over the Moon.
Over the Moon. Nah, we over the moon about Soul.
Sorry. Yeah, Soul won. Let me
Congrats,
see.
Jamie
Best
Foxx
sound,
and
Sound of
family.
Metal. Best director,
Okay.
Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Okay, I
That
heard a
was
lot of
the,
good things about that.
What's
Congratulations.
her name? The main lady in the Nomadland.
I don't know, but a customer came and told me about that movie and said it was really good.
It was Frances McDormand.
Oh, she be acting.
Yeah, she did
She be
the
acting.
3 Billboards outside.
I don't watch movies named after billboards.
Okay.
Did I really care win anything? I care a lot.
I care a lot. What's that one?
Is that even nominated?
You know what though? That movie was Golden Globe nominated.
Ew.
Yeah, that movie.
Hey, best supporting actor, Daniel Kaluuya.
Hey, brother with the
I
eyes.
said Kaluuya.
Black people are sweeping the
Judas
Oscars.
and the Black Messiah.
Congratulations. He another one. Like I don't know if he really hit that Fred Hampton that hard, but he acted so doggone good in that movie. I ain't even mind it. But they should have just split that award in two. Give one to Lakeith.
Give
I
him
ain't
the Keith. Leslie Odom Jr. was nominated too for One Night in Miami.
Leslie Odom Jr. Who did they play?
That's
Leslie Odom Jr. Was that the person who played Malcolm X?
maybe.
That's one of them British.
Yeah. No, he was he was in Hamilton. That's all I know. Sam Cooke. He played Sam Cooke.
Oh, that dude was acting. Congratulations. That dude was acting. I loved One Night in Miami. Y'all seen it?
I have not.
I didn't get a chance.
Right,
to.
you saw it? That movie was fire. The cinematography.
They haven't
in there
done
was
the
fire.
best actor, actress, or movie, but the
We really are late.
the movies that are nominated: Sound of Metal, Mank, Minari. I think that's the one with Steve Yeun.
You said, okay. Oh, okay.
Just trust me. Promising Young Woman, The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah,
That one's winning for sure.
Trial of the Chicago 7, and Nomadland.
It's
Yo,
Judas.
congratulations to Soul and Judas
Yeah.
for sweeping the Oscars.
Yes.
I don't know any of those other movies. Typically, I hear of the movies. I had 2 years where I followed all Oscar movies. That's when my girl, Chris knows her name, and I can never remember, but I love her so much. Lady with red hair. You know what I'm talking about.
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, more. That lady be acting, man. She hit me with that one movie about forgetting things. Damn, her and Alec Baldwin.
Yo, this don't sound like men on the internet right now. What are we talking about?
Yo, I'm a creative man.
Dude, you are on a different, like, having a moment
I am.
that I just don't want to be a part of anymore.
Man, what you not comfortable?
No, I'm not.
All right, well then give Chris the mic.
Chris got his own mic.
No, give Chris both. Yeah, nah, Julianne Moore, you need to get another Oscar soon. Wait,
I don't know what to
is
say.
Viola Davis nominated for Best
For
Actress? Yeah, because she did.
Yeah.
She about to win.
For Ma Rainey.
She better win. Who else? Wait, who else is she up against?
Andra Day.
Oh, she did pretty good too. She played Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday. Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman. Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman.
We're gonna pass on that one.
Frances McDormand for Nomadland.
All right, we're gonna pass on that one too. All right, congratulations to Viola Davis.
What's funny is I haven't watched any of these movies yet. I could, with sound confidence, be able to tell you exactly who's going to win every category.
Listen, man. Congratulations to everybody who won that Oscar. I don't normally watch the Oscars anymore, but I am proud of everybody who's out there thriving and doing their thing in the arts world. You know, as a room filled with people who either study the craft or who love it or who consume it, it ain't easy to get on that stage. So congratulations to everybody.
Congrats. Shout out.
All right, Chris, when it happens, let us know, okay?
For sure, I'll keep my phone on.
Okay. All right, what's next?
What else was I thinking about?
You sent me some stuff.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle starting a podcast.
Yo, Dave Chappelle's doing a comeback. Like, I think he's starting to decide that I'm gonna be outside now.
No, but this is a 4-year comeback. He started coming back since
I know,
2016.
but now he's distinctively saying I'm coming back outside. I got my money off of the Chappelle show. I'm comfortable with Netflix. Now it's time to start like coming outside regularly. Like before, it was just like I'm gonna just jump in without anybody really knowing I'm about to do something. Now he's doing rollouts.
Well, let me ask you this: y'all want this?
I mean, you got to pay for it now. It's not like free content. So that's the whole thing. So like he's doing this podcast with Talib Kweli and Mos Def, I believe, and it's gonna be on Luminary. So Luminary is
That's such a good name, by the way.
What is it though?
Luminary.
So it's another platform that I guess is a paywall. You know, you got to pay for the content to be able to listen. You know what I mean? Like kind of like Spotify without the free version, Patreon. You know, like stuff like that. So I guess they haven't been extremely successful. So this is kind of their Hail Mary, as far as like let's do.
But is it only podcast content?
Yeah. I think probably, yeah. I don't know if it's audio and video or just audio. Probably audio and video, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a big deal. I mean, obviously being able to hear Dave Chappelle's stream of thinking on a consistent basis, I think would be extremely interesting.
So you want it?
I probably won't pay for it, though.
It'll be out there free.
They're gonna come out with clips first.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, you want it?
If they're good, I'll think about it.
You want it?
Maybe.
I don't want this at all. I know I'm sounding like a hater. I don't want this
Why?
at all.
Is it because it's Chappelle or is it because it's a paywall?
No, it's neither. It's because Dave Chappelle has transcended being a comic that is there to make you laugh. He has this voice that is important to, I don't necessarily think it's the black community either. I think it's the people who want to understand black people. They very much so value Dave Chappelle. I think black people like Dave Chappelle and he's fine and they give him his flowers and say he's great. But I mostly hear like everybody else giving this guy his flowers. Now, I personally think that he's cheapening his brand by having a microphone in front of his face all the time. Some of the magic of Dave Chappelle is waiting a little bit to find out what he's going to say. Right. If we have access to Dave all the time, then we might find issues with him. Then we might find things that we may not like about him. That's what happens whenever we start listening to people who talk too much. And that's when I say, I don't know if this is the best move. I would prefer to wait a year and you lump everything together and I hear everything in a rehearsed, practice, scripted session that you got to really think about. But if you're coming in weekly or monthly or whatever it is just to speak, I don't know if this actually helps you more than it hurts you. So me personally, I'm good.
Yeah, but you're thinking about it from a business standpoint. I think he's thinking about it as far as he probably understands the time. And I mean, he's specifically picking, Talib Kweli and, Mos Def, who obviously have a reputation for being, intellectuals, definitely people that are, trying to push a message to the black community and like, pro black voices that are respected.
Okay.
So I think, the change that I've seen in Dave Chappelle over this past, few years has been not doing comedy. Yeah. Most of his specials that have been coming out on YouTube through Netflix or whatever have been TED Talks.
Yeah, they're TED Talks with a joke. Which
I think he's pretty much saying, I'm comedy maybe doesn't excite him the way that it used to, and now he feels like, look, I have something to say. I've given you decades of content to get you to now to get you to understand that I'm worth listening to. Now I get to start, that I've built this credibility over the last however many decades of being in the industry. He's like, now this is what I want to say. This is how I want to impact the community. And maybe this is what he wants his legacy to be. Maybe he doesn't want his legacy or his brand to be just jokes. He wants his brand to be, what impact he's going to make through, how he discusses these, whatever topics and how whatever their podcast is going to end up being.
But that's fine and all. And I don't necessarily need Dave Chappelle to make jokes. I'm personally not the biggest Chappelle fan. I think he's got 2 really amazing specials, and everything else to me was just kind of like, so, but I do understand that he's become this guy that has he became Ja Rule.
What?
Yes.
Explain that.
Because when September 11th happened, they said, here's Ja Rule, right?
No, MTV said that. Who's said they? It's not MTV said, let's put Ja Rule on.
There you go. So they said, MTV said, let's put Ja Rule on so we can get his. I'm alluding to the joke of him saying, who cares what Ja Rule has to say? But now we're in this age where people care about what comedians have to say on these very, very deep topics. So for me, again, I return back to the old rule of what you think is valuable. When you give people too much, you start to realize that you may not agree with everything that they say, or you may not like everything that they say. And for me, I think that Dave Chappelle has a great way of creating things that he can polish, things that he may like or he may not like, and he can trim it down and put it in 18 minutes. But when you start giving people too much freedom to say too much stuff, that's when things start getting a little bit sour. It's the same idea as money. Why is Bitcoin so valuable? Because there's a very specific amount of it.
But once again, you're going from you're speaking from the lens that is going to ruin his brand, or
it's not about the brand.
Or whatever. He wants people to, maybe he feels it's time, or maybe he has confidence in the way that he processes information and his thought process, that he feels like a special once a year or once every 2 years, he's not impacting society the way, or culture the way that he wants to. He feels like he needs, because if you think about it, like I said, his last 3 quote unquote specials haven't been comedy. He came out when the George Floyd thing did and did a very, emotional, soliloquy or whatever. It was considered a stand-up, but it wasn't that many jokes. I think he's starting to want to be more involved with the national discussion. And I think somebody who, like you said, has gotten to the point where they've honed their craft to a point where they're able to process things. They're able to put it in a succinct, format that is very digestible to the listener. That is somebody that we do need to hear more from. And I think we should have confidence in Dave Chappelle that he has the ability, regardless if it's a freestyle or it's something that he's developed over a year or 2 years, that he's going to be able, it's going to be a good content, it's going to be something that's going to be entertaining and worth listening to. And so I say, yeah, do it. Like, do whatever he wants to do. Like, if he more than anybody has come out and said he wants to control the narrative about himself. He wants to control his brand. He wants control over everything, which is why he did everything that he's done over the past, 10 years or whatever, going to Africa, getting out of the, Chappelle Show deal, all that kind of stuff. So why not? I think this is a natural, evolution of where he needs to go. He doesn't want to be on stage. This is an opportunity for him to reach more people than he would through touring.
Yeah, I think I'm good. But let me ask you this: Did you watch Bruce Springsteen speak to Barack Obama?
No.
Okay, that's exactly what I think is going to happen to the show.
I think it's gonna happen because of the paywall. I think if he does something like how Joe Rogan does, I think that he would. I think people would listen. I've listened to his interviews. I've listened to him do the Breakfast Club. I've listened to him do do Joe Rogan's podcast. His thought process whenever he does do interviews is extremely entertaining and extremely engaging and very interesting. What I am going to be interested in seeing is Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Dave Chappelle. Is there going to be any conflict on that show, or is everybody coming from the same perspective, same point of view? Like, because if it's just a whole bunch of people saying the same thing, I don't know if that's going to be very interesting. Versus like, people having different viewpoints on the same topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I think, because they seem to be very pro one way. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's going to be content that is like
that's provocative, provokes people. Yeah, I mean you're pretty much saying what I'm saying, but in a different lens. But I think we're still looking at the same picture. But we'll see what happens. Now, to transition into real quick. Transition into people who talk too much. LeBron James.
Wow.
Chris, go ahead.
I was going to tell you Two Distant Strangers, the short film about the time loop of the black guy getting shot by the policeman.
Is that a short film?
That's a short film. It won the Oscar.
Nice.
Wow. Congratulations to those guys. I saw the trailer on Netflix. I didn't want to watch it because it just, it's like a little too close to home. But shout out to them, man. Good job. I bet you Nate Robinson upset right now. Not Nate Robinson. You know who I'm talking about. Nate, what's his name? Nate from Beyond the Lights.
You going into a zone that I don't know anything about.
I said, you know who I'm talking about? Nate. He's the little black dude. Oh my gosh, he made a cop killing movie this year.
Oh,
too.
Kevin Durant and Mike Conley.
Yeah, they were produced on the film.
It.
Yeah.
So they're Oscar winners as well.
Kevin Durant, couple weeks out of calling out a white man out of his name.
Yeah. Yo, they following in Kobe's footsteps.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the headlines.
Damn.
He joined Kobe as a...
While you out here saying LeBron James talks too much.
All right, cool. So LeBron James.
Hey, segues.
All right, so LeBron James. It is being said that he talks too much. Now, the issue I personally think is not necessarily that LeBron James talks too much. LeBron James speaks quickly. What are we talking about? The moment that the Derek Chauvin trial was announced to the world, in Ohio, a 15 or 16-year-old girl named Ma'Khia Bryant was in an altercation involving another young lady. It seemed like it was a young lady, her dad, another lady, a guy who was doing kung fu. I don't know what was happening, but there was a lot of people in this situation.
Mm-hmm. And for perspective, they all are black.
They were
because
all black.
that's important, I think, to the narrative.
They're all black. And so this cop, the police officer was called by Ma'Khia Bryant or her family because the other girl was attacking her. When the officer arrived on the scene, he saw Ma'Khia Bryant pull out a knife and she was about to stab the other girl with the knife, as so it seems. The officer, who is former military and he's like a marksman in the military, he pulled out his gun in a split-second decision and he shot Ma'Khia Bryant 4 times. Surprisingly, he did not hit anybody else, so this dude had target dead-on precision. He shot her, she fell to the ground and died. A lot of outcry, a lot of response from people, especially since it was an emotionally charged day. But LeBron James took a photo of the officer and he tweeted out, "You're next. #accountability." Now, some people took that and said, hey, LeBron James is threatening the officer. To me, I thought he said "you're next" as in you're going to be guilty of all charges as well. What did you get from it?
Yeah. I took the same thing. I didn't think it was a call to violence. I didn't think all of that. I understand how these narratives play out because, clearly LeBron James is somebody who falls on the left side of politics or whatnot. So the right, meaning conservative right, is going to play a certain narrative, right, with all of their whole things. And then the left takes it a certain way. But I didn't think it was inciting violence, or he was trying to dox the officer. What I did think was LeBron James was trying to, he was trying to invoke a certain emotion, or maybe he was emotional at the time. Obviously, Ohio is his home state, so it probably hit a little close to home. Mm-hmm. But he clearly didn't have all the information at the time that he was tweeting that picture, and I think that's more of where I came to issues with, because it's really when somebody has a platform that reaches multiple millions of people like he does, when you put something out there, a lot of times that becomes the truth, regardless of whether or not there's facts behind it. You know what I mean? And I think that was more where my criticism has come from is, man, you needed to do a little bit more research, because when you look more in depth into it, it doesn't seem like it was the same situation as just, it seemed like the cop was in a situation where it was a lose-lose type of situation. He made a split decision. He saw a knife that could have, killed another person, and he chose to, handle it in the way that he did. Unfortunately, a life was lost, which is terrible. But, the cop made a decision. And whether or not you agree with that decision or not, is one thing. I do know that the person who he saved probably is pretty happy that he made that choice.
Not happy, thankful.
Thankful, I'd say, yeah.
So, what I asked myself this the other day: how does a story become viral? How do people all get behind something like that? Boom, happens, done, right? And I don't like that. I don't necessarily like that these things fall into a political category, right? Because if LeBron tweets it out, they're gonna say, well, he kind of falls more on the left, so this is how he thinks. Whereas I think that most of these situations should be judged as such situations, and you should just look at it like that. Now, with that being said, I think that because of the emotional state of where everybody is, post the last few shootings that we've seen, police interactions we've seen, it almost kind of feels like people have realistically given up. They're saying it doesn't matter what happens with Derek Chauvin. This is just gonna keep happening and immediately jump to it. Now, I don't want to be the person that compares the two, but I thought about virality. What makes something go viral? And somebody explained to me about the story of 2 days before, 48 hours, two 13-year-old girls were fighting, and one girl stabbed the other in Ohio as well. And the girl that the 13-year-old stabbed, she died. And they said, well, you see, that one did not go viral. What is the difference? And I said, well, I understand your argument. I understand your point. And for me, it actually makes me double sad, right? Because sometimes I feel like there's always emphasis and quick reaction to one thing and no care about anything else, where ultimately I want us to care about these things. I just want us to care about each other, and I want us to care about our people. So when I looked at the Ma'Khia Bryant situation, there's a million things you can say. Yo, he could have just pulled out his taser and shot her. Well, he could have done this. He could have shot her in the leg. He's a marksman. He could have done this. He could have done that. Okay, look. If a police officer sees a threat of violence, it is to my understanding that their whole thing is to eliminate the threat immediately and then to do all the reviewing later. I saw Charlemagne said, did he have to shoot her 4 times? I personally think, like, well, it's not like he took out a bomb and threw it at her. Like, he shot and then saw the threat was gone and then he composed himself. I don't necessarily think that 4 times was too much. However, it does sadden me to see that a 16 or 15-year-old girl lost her life to this situation. Is the officer wrong? I don't think that the officer went there to kill. I think the officer
That also wasn't his first action. I don't know if you watched the whole video, but when he gets there,
the 6-minute one, 7-minute one.
He tried to break it up
it was
at
a
first.
6-minute one, but
Okay.
they come running out the house first.
Yeah.
And he tries to stop her by grabbing her,
Really?
and she jukes him,
Yeah.
and then runs after the girl with the knife.
It wasn't like his gun was out the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't his first move.
Yeah.
It was a reaction.
I don't necessarily think that cop went there to go kill people.
I don't think the cop even knew
He
what
was
he was
just
going
responding
into. He
to
was
a
responding
call
to a
that
call.
they
Yeah.
said, and they didn't even give specifics. Somebody is
Yeah.
screaming, and someone has a knife.
And I look at the what are the other options that could happen? Let's say he didn't stop. He didn't shoot Makai, and Makai got, because she was definitely swinging that knife towards this girl and ends up harming this person fatally. Now the cop is going to be, now what do you say about this cop?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lose-lose situation.
That's what I
That's
said.
exactly what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Like, because if that girl really did stab her, they would just be like, damn, he's going to really stand there and do nothing.
He doesn't care about black people. If it was a white person, if that was a white girl that was being stabbed, he would have done something.
But the thing is, like, they can also say he should have just pulled his taser out. And it's like,
The
I guess
taser,
so.
you have to be able to guarantee that both prongs on the taser are going to insert themselves into a person, and even then you can still move your arm. If you are going at a momentum and you have enough adrenaline in you to be attacking a person, tasers don't stop people immediately.
And you have to think about it. If there's somebody that's coming at you with a knife and there's a cop there, are you caring about whether, are you saying, I really hope this cop pulls this taser and, shoots and stops this person? Or are you just like, please save me in any way, shape, or form? You know what I mean? Like, I think it just depends. Like, and the problem with what LeBron did is that he just went for the
Instant, the low-hanging fruit.
low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The thing that, and unfortunately in this situation, it creates more issues. It's not, he wasn't trying to solve anything. Maybe in his mind he's trying to, I guess,
Stand for the people.
no,
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
feel like
saying
that's
is,
what he was trying to
in
do.
his head, he's probably justifying that the reason why I'm doing this is to solve a problem, that police brutality is his issue. They always come after our people, so on and so forth. When in actuality, he is creating more of an issue, because now it's going back to the same. If a white cop has any type of interaction with the black person that doesn't go the way that the black person feels is legitimate, or it ends up killing a black person, whether justified or not, it's always a race issue.
thing.
And that, I think, is the biggest problem, because what is the end game?
Man, I don't really know.
But if you play it out logically, the only end game is separating. Like a white cop is gonna be afraid to do anything around, because if this cop,
But that's also a thing, because like I've heard that's called the Ferguson effect. That, like, let's remove that to say like, oh, a white cop is gonna be scared, because clearly the white cops ain't scared. Like, they might fall back a little bit, but they gonna get up in there if they got you. My thing here is I feel as if I shouldn't even start with I feel because then it makes it devoid of fact. But I don't like to see these things instantly go there. I do believe in due process, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And I understand that there's a narrative. I understand that there are certain things that once you fill in the blanks, white cop, black person, gun, death, it goes nuts. The numbers just go insane. But I do think that people just take a second. Just take a second. Find out what happened. And from there on, figure it out. Because it is difficult. It's not easy. And it's hard to hear people say the word justified, right? If I was that girl's parent, I would totally be upset. I would be saddened, and I would also feel like the cop did something wrong. But there's also a group of people saying, yo, you should have been able to control your child as well. And it's like, oof, like right now may not be the time to say those things.
Yeah.
You know, but is it false?
I think that's what you're saying. I think what you're saying is I wish our society valued being right versus being first, because there's a rush to be first on every single thing when it comes to the media and how they put a narrative, because there's no repercussions for being wrong, unfortunately. You can put a retraction but the damage has already been done. And the thing that with the LeBron tweet, it already went viral before he took it down.
And then once he took it down, it went triple viral.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just tough. You know, I get that. I get the anger, but at the same time, you do have to remember that not everybody is in the same position. I imagine it as a person who doesn't have a child, but if it was like my little cousin, I tell my little cousins this all the time. I say, be aware of how you act and how you react, because there are some things that you can prevent, you as a person. There are some things that you can't, but some things fall upon you. And you as a person need to own up to that and be accountable for the things that you do. So be aware of how you act and react. Anything else that falls outside of if you did everything right and you still got treated wrong, that needs to be handled. But it's just like a 50-50 thing. As a person who's been pulled over a billion times by the police, there are ways that I act and ways that I react. Because guess what? I want to make it home. Mm-hmm. Period. So I say rest in peace to that young lady. It's so tragic how that happens. It's an unfortunate situation. But am I the person to rush to responding to it the way LeBron did? I am not.
And the problem that was more disappointing was LeBron's answers to taking it down. There was no account, like he didn't take any accountability for being like rushing to judgment or whatever. He was just like, I'm going to take this down because people are using this to divide and create more hate, and, you know, basically going back into the victim type of thing. And I think that's one critique that people have on LeBron is he tends to always figure out a way or try to play that he's a victim. And I don't think that, you know, obviously he is, you know, most people would want to trade LeBron's life for their life as far as how wealthy he is, how much, you know. And I think to his defense too, like, he's pretty consistent with, you know, his messaging as far as what he believes in, and he doesn't just use words. He actually like does a lot for community.
Yeah,
and
he does what he feels is right.
Yeah, I think that, and so I think when it comes to a person like that, you have to give him credit for that. Mm-hmm. And
he acts on his beliefs.
Yeah, and also he's created his following based off of his own actions. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he has the ability to do whatever he wants to do with this platform. And you can agree or disagree. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you feel, because if you want to combat that, build your own platform, get to a certain place, and, you know, put out the opposite message. So I'm not mad at LeBron for doing what it is he's doing, but both of us, I think, are saying the same thing. It would be nice if people that have that ability, and I think it's the same critique that people have about Trump when he had his Twitter. It's like, yo, realize what you're saying is going to have an effect in a certain way, you know, because I think one time, you know, Trump retweeted a video, and in the video it had some dude saying white power in it. And that was like 7 minutes into the video. I'm pretty sure Trump didn't watch that whole video. He just saw a Trump parade, and his, you know, obviously Trump being the egotist that Trump is, he's like, oh, these people like me. Let me retweet this video. But at the end of the video, it was some dude that said white power. So he had to take it down. And the critique, everything that people are saying about Trump, the left coming at Trump about that is what everybody's saying about LeBron. It's like, yo, understand that your platform is big. It's going to affect people. It's going to help paint this narrative or tell this story in history as far as how this is going to be consumed. So, you know, try to be as responsible as possible, you know.
All right, last serious topic before I talk about Hot Girl Summer.
I have the Oscar winners.
Tell me.
Best Actress, Frances McDormand, Nomadland.
Oh, wow, I guess that one wrong.
Best Actor.
They're racist.
Straight from low-hanging fruit to they're racist.
Best Actor, the nominees were Riz Ahmed from Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman from Ma Rainey, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman in Mank, and Stephen Yeun in Minari, and Hopkins took it.
Anthony Hopkins?
The Father, yeah.
Yeah. See how they always want to give us the little...
Right.
Just kidding.
And the Best Picture.
Oh, okay.
Nomadland.
Wow. So I was way wrong. We could edit that out in the beginning then.
And we ain't going to take nothing out.
Nomadland.
Congratulations to Lakeith Stanfield.
To Viola.
Yeah, you ain't even going to give it to Chadwick after he died? Man,
Yes,
rest in
yeah.
peace, Chadwick Boseman, man. Good guy. All right, so here's my question. Waka Flocka Flame.
Go ahead.
He got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Donald Trump for being a good person in his community.
He deserves it.
What did Waka Flocka do?
He does a lot. He does a lot with his money, and he's done a lot as far as within his community and things of that nature. But the thing that I like about Waka Flocka Fame the most is just he is showing his evolution as a human, and he's showing what, you know, he's very open about what he's been working on, the flaws that he's seen in his past. I think he has a very realistic and view of the world, and I think that, you know, if we had more Waka Flocka Fames or people that would, whatever mistakes and whatever lifestyle he was living before, he is evolving, and he's showing that evolution, and he is, I think, a good role model for the success of being a successful American. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this question. If Trump gave you an achievement award for being a good person, you taking it?
Yes.
You gonna go to the ceremony?
You get a ceremony for that?
No, I'm saying if he was like, I'm giving you the award
Go ahead.
personally.
That's the spot. It's like he's in the room right now.
You know, whatever. Trump looks nuts right now, by the way. I saw an interview on YouTube. He looks like he's 1 foot in the grave.
Really?
Yeah, he looks
I
horrible.
didn't see the same thing.
Decrepit.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Trump, for what he does and the schedule he does, I think he looks pretty good for his age.
Damn, I thought he looked like a big nasty toe.
He sure does.
But so you gonna take it? You gonna take it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
I am.
You gonna go to the event, get a picture and everything?
Sure.
I would.
Yeah, you would?
Yeah, I would if it was Barack Obama. I would if it was George W. Bush. Like, there's only 45 American presidents. So if you have the opportunity, or 46 now with President Biden. If President Biden gave me one, whether or not I agree with him politically, I'm still going to that event, because that is. How many people can say that they've been honored by the president of the United States, been invited to the White House, that's like a memory for ever, you know, like that's whatever that medal or whatever it is can be passed down from generation to generation to generation. Yeah. And somebody will always be like, oh, my great grandfather was, you know, was honored by the president. You know, I think that's a huge honor. And, you know, I would, you know, regardless of.
Yeah, should the person who is the president tarnish the award, tarnish the honor of a lifetime achievement award? Lifetime achievement?
What you mean tarnish?
Like, that's what he's saying. Like, why wouldn't you go?
I don't know. Tom Brady didn't go to the White House.
Yeah.
And he was homeboys with Trump.
Right, but that's not what I'm asking.
But I think that was a team decision, right?
Oh, okay.
And even the NBA teams, like, they didn't go. You know, like, I don't think any team actually went to Trump, like, any champion actually was honored by Trump. I think most decided as a team they didn't want to go because of the political climate or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, yo, would you go? You would go? All right, then I'll go too.
I'll be there.
He's a follower. He's a follower.
He said, "I'll pull up in a crooked edge."
Yeah, I pull up in a Hyundai, man.
You pay for parking?
Yo, if Trump don't pay for parking,
Hey, man, he's gonna have all the McDonald's burgers too.
Yo, I would not be upset. I'm like, you got the chicken sandwich?
Give me a 20-piece nug. I'm out.
I'm in there. Damn. So
I bet those DC burgers hit different too.
Oh, it could be.
But he's doing it in Mar-a-Lago now, right?
I don't know wherever he's doing it.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
That orange hits different wherever he is. He looks wild. I think I saw him on. It wasn't Tucker Carlson. It was the other guy. Sean Hannity. He was talking. I looked at him and the sides of his eyes just looked crusty.
How you feel about him running in 2024? You ready for that wildness?
That's not gonna happen.
So I think that's definitely gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Trump is like 74 or something.
Yeah, how old is the president right now?
Yeah, but Joe Biden's been trying to be president since 74. That boy had
That's
a checklist. You know, Trump. I don't think he's. And plus, like, he got mad legal issues. He recognizes that. Like, people don't like him. I honestly think that the ultimate decision, if somebody wanted a person with Trump policies to get back into the White House, they would need somebody who has more of that, like, left-leaning emotional output and give those right-leaning conservative-esque policies. Now, the difficult thing about Trump policies is that some of it was rather conservative, and then some of it was not conservative almost at all. So Trump was kind of like a moderate leaning conservative president. So people would just have to decide, like, what do we actually want? Do we want this country to be fiscally conservative, or do we want the government to spend like crazy? Like, what do we actually want? Because through a lot of Trump policies, there was some pretty good stuff in there, you know. But Trump, the person, people recognize, like, okay, we don't want this, and I think Trump recognizes that people don't want him. So I don't think that there's any. There's no way.
Did you watch that interview?
I did watch it. It popped up on my feed, and I said, okay, let me check.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched the maybe 10 minutes that came on my thing. So I don't know if that was the whole thing or
no. It was like 30 minutes long.
Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing.
So he definitely doesn't think that people. He knows people dislike him. He definitely said in that interview there has been no other sitting president that has gotten as many votes that I have.
I saw that part.
So, and he knows his power that he has, and more than anything, he is one, a huge troll, and two, super egotistical, right? So you're not telling me that he doesn't want to be a president that was impeached twice, lost, come back, and like think about what his place would be in history as far as him as a person. And I think that matters to him much more than any of us could even understand, as far as like he's going to be the 45th. He could be the 45th and the 47th president of the United States.
Here's why I think it would not be a great idea, despite the fact that, yes, I think that maybe he would really like that. I think that the emotional state of the country, as Redman likes to put it, the emotional state of the country was hella annoying for 4 years.
True.
I never want to hear, I think he's a Trump supporter. I never want to hear that again. Like, it's like, it's so dividing that it's just like, it was just, I don't want to say it was too much for me, but it was freaking annoying. I would personally say, if you like conservative policies, if you are like, okay, I'm kind of tough on immigration, I am big on personal accountability, we don't like to spend a lot of money, if you personally like lower taxes, if you like these things, then vote somebody else who can serve the purpose that helps people feel okay. Because ultimately, in the United States, people need to feel okay. But Trump, the person, even though he may have had pretty solid policies, I think that him, the person, was just too much for the country, and I don't want to have to go through that again.
I mean, you're talking real rational, and I agree with everything you say. But the question was, are you ready for him to be running in 2024? Because he's gonna run. He's not gonna. You're thinking like a rational person, and Trump isn't
a rational person.
You're trying to speak something in existence. I think if you take a bet right now, the money would be that he is going to run. I don't think there's any 78. Doubt. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he's gonna run.
Could he beat The Rock?
No.
I mean, I don't think The Rock would be able to run. Like, it's gonna be.
Why not? He's running on Young Rock right now.
Yeah, but I think, is he beating out Kamala?
The Rock would definitely beat Kamala. Wow. Big facts.
So you just against a black woman being a first.
She already got the job. She already got a job.
She good.
She good.
So she can't be. So women can't be president.
You're right about that one. Anyways, Dwayne.
Segue.
Wow, he said it. He's toxic.
Dwayne would rock bottom Kamala out of the White House.
Yo,
He would do it so easily too. He would just be like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in the next Avengers movie. That's my movie now." Also, just hit on November 4th. Just slide up in there.
I know. Hey, more women are gonna vote for The Rock than they vote for Kamala.
Oh yeah,
for very different reasons.
I could definitely see that. I would probably Would I vote for The Rock?
Hey, but Rock versus Trump would be epic because we've probably seen amazing. That in the WWE before.
I think we have.
We've seen Trump versus Vince McMahon,
and I think somebody else, was it Bobby Lashley or Umaga or something?
I don't know.
But yeah.
Well, but in reality, I think that one of who in 2024, and we could get off this topic because it is what it is, but like I think it's gonna be one of these governors.
Oof, that's actually interesting that you say that, because I think these governors went through the test of time, and the losers are as follows: the governor of California, the governor of New York. The governor of
Michigan,
the governor of New Jersey. All of them suckers failed. Every single one of them, they failed.
Isn't Caitlyn Jenner running?
Oh yeah, Caitlyn Jenner's
She's
running
running
for
in Cali.
governor.
But you know what's crazy? I would also disagree because there are a lot of people that think that Newsom did a great job and that Cuomo did a great job and that Whitmer has done a great job. It just is. It's tough to see if you're on the opposite end because we tend to be in our own little echo chambers and whatnot.
Definitely.
And so I think that because in my mind, when I see what's happening in Florida, I can't understand why anybody in California would be okay with what's going on here. However, when I talk to people at my job or, I run into people, there are people that are like, cool with what's going on here.
Okay. I don't think that Gruesome did a bad job because he shut everything down. I think that he did a not great job because he didn't respond to the needs of the people. What I mean by that is he shut the state down and did not do enough, in my opinion, at least on time, for people who run the country. So the first strike for me was the AB5 law, where he killed a whole lot of freelancer jobs, pretty much made it illegal to be an actor, a writer, an editor, a photographer, a DP. Oh, you mean everybody in our industry? Yeah, that was the first strike for me because you pretty much shut my business down. For what purpose? Only for 6 months later for you to give us our rights back. Hey, buddy, you got to go.
Hey, but there's a lot of people that...
That's number one. Number two, understandably so, you shut the state down. Fine. But you didn't practice what you preached. So it's either you shut it down for all of us and you go sit inside your house and you come back out with a fro, or you do what you did. You went out there and partied and got haircuts when we were all scared inside of our houses.
And you shut down everybody else's business but your own.
And you kept your own open. Uncool. Uncool. Another thing is, if somebody came and messed with my business, I have every opportunity to sue them for lost wages or for damages. So if the government tells me I have to shut my company down and the federal government says go ahead and reopen, but the state says you got to keep it closed, where's my money? Have you thought about that? What am I supposed to do? So for me, understandably so, if you had no issues during COVID, you just got to sit at home, work from home, you saved money on your car insurance, totally understandable for you to say, I didn't have a problem with what he did. Of course, it didn't affect you, but everybody is selfish. That's how we're born. That's how we're raised as human beings. You even do good things for selfish reasons. So if you are not inside of that bubble of people who are affected, you look at people a little bit weird. You look at them when they say, yo, this guy ruined my life. Do you know how many people I know that had to leave the state after being here for 2 decades because they can't operate anymore?
A ton.
Because one man made a choice. Sorry, but you got to go.
Can I speak now? So I have a friend of mine who I consider a really reasonable person. He owns his own business. Same cultural background as me.
Okay.
And so I tend to think, like the way you're speaking comes from an entrepreneurial mindset. So this guy is also an entrepreneur.
Okay. What kind of business is he in?
He runs a auto dealership.
Okay.
So his business was greatly impacted by COVID.
Okay.
So I tend to agree with you as far as Newsom's job, and for all the reasons that you said, plus more. Mm-hmm. But when I talked to him about it, I brought up he shut down all people's businesses, kept his business open. He said we couldn't go outside. He's outside. No mask, all this kind of stuff. His response was, He made a mistake and he apologized about it.
Okay.
So then the next thing was, well, he shut down all of these businesses. His business stays open. People aren't surviving. Businesses are shutting down for life. The economic relief isn't there what it needs to be, so on and so forth. His response is, well, we did this to ourselves because we're choosing not to follow the guidelines that are set out for us. If everybody would just stay home and wear a mask and do the things that we need to do, we would have been able to be open much quicker. So what I say this to say that there's people who genuinely are afraid of this virus and think everybody needs to be sitting at home because if you're not wearing a mask, if you're not vaccinated, if you're not go on with everything other Fauci says, you're literally a murderer. And you're out here trying to kill people.
I respect your right to say that. I respect your right to think that. The science says as opposite. The data says as opposite. I'm not going to be the person that pushes that onto anybody because honestly, COVID is scary. COVID is scary. And COVID is an upsetting topic because everybody is not cut from the same cloth. There are people who are losing family members attributed to COVID. So everyone's going to have different responses. I get it. I do get it. However, I do also feel as if humans are allowed to make mistakes. The only thing that separates an ordinary and an extraordinary human is a person who's able to adapt to their mistakes. So if I'm going to follow along with you, you're going to have to thread the needle all the way through. If Governor Newsom is truly apologetic, then he's going to have to operate as such. For me, it was the AB5 thing that really set me off because I run a business filled with, guess what? Freelancers.
That's the gig work one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much killed gig work in California for months. Made it pretty much illegal to be a W-9 employee.
And made it hard for companies like Uber and Lyft and all these guys to...
Right? And so it's like, how do you expect somebody to own an LLC in California and get self-employment tax through the roof? We're not talking about federal taxes. We're talking about state taxes that are taking 20% of your money as self-employed. Do you know how hard it is to be self-employed? So then at the end of the year, you're paying 20 plus the government's 20, 28, whatever it is that they want. You're forking over half of your money. So you're telling me that a small business owner has to provide you with 40 hours of work, health insurance, benefits. How do you grow? So for me, I understand if you made a mistake, but at the same time, some people can't be making them kinds of mistakes. Just look outside. Just look outside. Do you see how many people live in tents?
It's looking mad. It's looking closer and closer to India day by day, my guy.
I don't know if y'all be paying attention, but just drive for like 15 minutes. You'll see in any direction.
Go to any beach.
You'll see people living outside. I moved here in 2009. I moved to the valley. There was one homeless guy named Chuck, and he was a cool dude. He was homeless because he had a heroin problem. Now, Chuck, I don't know where he is, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them living on the street. There are some things you can't legislate away. COVID is one of them. You can't make a law that says, hey, COVID can't exist anymore. But you can legislate people's lives changing in an economic way. Why don't you guys pay attention to that? If you made a mistake, fix it.
I agree with you, man. But my point is there's a lot of people that don't see it the same way you see it.
Well, this goes back to, I don't like this word, but it goes back to a certain kind of privilege. America, in many ways, is not here to service the individual. It is here to service the biggest donor, which means if in California we have Facebook, Google, all these mega ginormous tech companies that are able to finance their way out of any issue.
You mean American government or America overall?
I mean, the government is America, is it not?
I disagree.
Well,
because I think America itself is for the individual, right? That's why so many people come here to be able to create better lives for themselves, so on and so forth. Sure. So the system is meant to help the individual create. You have the opportunity here to, I mean, in its like purest form, you know, you put in the work, you should be able to reap the benefits of the work that you put in. Yeah. Now the government, on the other hand, which is what we're talking about right now, whether it be Newsom, Cuomo, whatever.
It benefits the biggest donor.
Sure.
So whoever has the most money wins, right? If you have enough money to donate to these people, that's why these companies have full on government
carte blanche.
Departments where government affairs, that's what it's called. The departments are literally called government affairs. So these large companies are going from side to side. Doesn't really matter. Red, blue, it doesn't matter. They're just donating money. So whoever wins, they have favor with them. So of course, you're going to legislate things for these large companies to win. But you have to remember that these large companies started in a garage somewhere. And you're taking away somebody's garage when you are doing these things that affect what you would call the little guy. But hey, the little guys can be the big guys one day.
True. And most of these policies that are being enacted to help the little guy actually hurt the little guy and help the big guy. Because, for example, what became essential work were all these big box companies. The companies that had to shut down were all the small business companies. Yeah. And all it did was wipe out competition for these big box carriers, which ended up making nuts. More and more and more money. Yep. When the little guy, which are the small business owners that could compete, sell the same products, didn't have the opportunity to be,
it's messed up. Successful. Yeah. It's like we were talking in circles back to the whole Will Smith thing.
Yep.
Will Smith can afford to go anywhere, because he's already a part of that upper echelon.
Yep.
But it's the little guy that always loses. I don't know if any of you guys here own businesses, but 2017 audit swept a lot of people out of here. It did. I don't know what happened. I don't know who was looking at what. Please don't audit me again. But the little guy had to pay 3 times in COVID. They had to pay with their lives, their businesses, and with their money.
Mm-hmm. And $1 to the little guy is much more valuable than $1 to the big guy. So if you're taking $10 out of the little guy's pocket, it hits them harder than taking $100,000 out of a big guy's pocket.
Yo, post-COVID, and I'm hoping that COVID is out of here very, very soon. I've actually made the decision to get the shot.
Ooh.
I'm going to get the J&J.
I thought that one got pulled.
It's coming back.
Oh.
It came back like 2 days ago.
Nice.
I'm going to get it because it's like, what do I need to do it twice for? What do I need to go one day and then go? I'm going to go get the J&J. I'm going to get it, whatever. I understand what it does and what it does not do. But I just want to see this thing out of here because on the other side of this hill is big things. It's a lot of dreams, it's a lot of goals, it's a lot of things, and I want to see us get there. All right, let's get to something a little bit more exciting. This summer's about to go crazy.
Allegedly. It's already going wild. That's what I'm trying to say. Like this summer is about to go crazy. No, it's already wild in multiple places. In Vegas, my friend just came back from Vegas. They are maskless in the club, pool park. Everything is live. In Vegas. In Florida, they are maskless on the beach, in the club. at the gyms. Everything is live. In Texas, they are live. I don't know what this whole in the summertime it's the states that are closed are still going to be closed.
Are you out there in the streets right now?
I'm in Miami. I'm in Vegas. I'm going anywhere and everywhere that allows us to be free.
You about to be a hot girl? You already got the mega knees.
Mega knees.
I don't know if you've seen Sunil dance. He get right down to the ground.
Look, first of all, I was stretching.
That brother, he said,
I pulled a Hemi.
he said ass to the grass, huh?
Oh my
He
God.
was shaking it upon our head
That is
tops.
absolutely incorrect. I was swag surfing.
What artist needs to put out an album for you to have the craziest summer?
I just want DMX RIP's album to come out because I think that one's gonna be fire.
Okay.
But as far as artists right now that could put out a hot album for the summer, I know you gonna pick Aubrey. But
You think I want to listen to Certified Lover Boy in the summer?
yes.
I think I would want that one for the fall.
You know who I want to put out an album? I'd want it to be Mr. 305.
Are you in
Pitbull.
Are you in 2011?
No, Pitbull would put out a fire album
You want
for the
a
summer.
Fetty Wap album too?
Nah.
What year do you
Look, I think somebody with like Bad Bunny put out an album or Daddy Yankee come back. Like I think we need a Latin banger for the summer.
I'm here for it.
My baby J-Lo got to put an album out, but she got to do it all the time.
And but nah, I don't know, man. Oh, you know what? She might be because she just breaking up with her dude. She's gonna be single ladies. It'll be a single ladies song.
J-Lo, I
It'll
saw
be a
J-Lo was
single-lady
working
album.
up with Ali Rodriguez. I DM'd her.
I know you
And
did. For
FaceTimed
sure.
her. And FaceTimed her.
I wrote her. I was like, "Yo, Jamie Foxx said your name not J-Lo, it's J-Ho." And she seen me. She seen it, but she left me on red.
Yeah.
She accepted it.
I don't think
She
she ever gonna answer you, but
No, well, I was just saying.
You never know.
Like, is Jamie right? Yeah, oh, congratulations, Jamie! You won an Oscar. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that to J-Lo. I said, "Hey, I'm a nice, young, respectable young guy. Please love me."
That sounds like a lie.
Yo, you know who I really am in love with right now?
Who?
Chloe Bailey.
Yo, you do like them young.
Yo, relax, man.
Yo, you came out with 2 young girl stories back already.
Who?
The girl at the bar and now Chloe Bailey.
Chloe Bailey's an of age woman.
All right, my dude.
Yo, I'm in my 20s.
that's wrong too.
I'm like, we just gonna lie. La 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 la.
I'm in my 20s.
Because he definitely said he's 30 in this same podcast. But whatever. Facts over feelings over facts.
Wait, so you saying that a black woman's not beautiful? Chloe Bailey is
gorgeous.
She's so beautiful. Oh man, and she sang a Weekend song. Oh my gosh, my heart dropped to the ground. Look at Chris googling.
I'm googling it.
No, who is that? Nah, you.
She's like 21.
You know Chloe Bailey? Oh my
She's
God.
beautiful. She's been coming into her own
Body
persona. I was just saying, like, she is being
like the way you said
confident, showing herself more, I would say.
Is she grownish?
Huh?
She isn't
Yeah.
grownish. She isn't grownish. Yeah.
She's in a group with her sister.
Oh,
like
she's
an
been
R&B group.
in the industry for a while.
Yeah,
She has. She's a part of Chloe and Haley.
she is
No,
the
yeah,
Chloe
yeah.
and Haley.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. You got it. Chloe Bailey. I totally DM'd her too. I was like, yo, you know what I'm trying to say.
Wow, you love talking to younger women. It's cool. Just own it.
She's of age.
I'm saying younger. I didn't say illegal.
So?
I'm just saying, why you getting all defensive about it like you doing something wrong?
She's great. She's a beautiful young black woman. Y'all just stepping out.
So you want her to put out a new album for the summer?
I didn't even know she did music.
Yo.
You know who needs to put out a nice little album?
Who?
My brother Miguel. But it gotta be fire though. 'Cause the
Yo,
last 2 albums.
Miguel ain't a summer album hype dude. That's gonna be just in your feelings music.
No. Because when Let My Love Adore You came out, that brother had the summer rocking.
But is that what you want to do post COVID? You want that type of music out?
Let my love adore you. I don't know. It was a little bop. Like if
Yo.
Miguel can come out, because
I
Bruno's
want
coming out.
Yin Yang
Bruno's coming out.
to come out and drop another booty rocking everywhere.
Brother, what year are you
I'm
in?
saying that type of music.
That brother is in 2001.
It was a great year.
Damn, you want Andre 3000 to drop that?
Hell yeah, I do.
He playing flute at the airport.
That's
Wow.
a fact. That's a fact. He is walking around there. But you want T.I. to put something out? Yeah, that's what I thought. T.I. gonna put out a joint mixtape with Bill Cosby.
Wow.
With like 4 R. Kelly features.
Yo, you see this face off between Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter? They're doing celebrity boxing.
Oh, I have heard of that.
Dude.
Aaron Carter's off the drugs.
Yo, Aaron
allegedly.
Doesn't Aaron Carter have his own OnlyFans page too?
Yeah, that brother.
Yo.
He's big broke. You know what's sad? I used to be a big Aaron Carter fan.
I had the album.
I didn't have the album. I wasn't like that fan. I was just like, I saw him on Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
I liked I Love Candy. Like he was just like the cool little kid that I was like, oh, this little cool kid. He grew up now. He got a face tattoo.
Yeah.
He's just doing weird stuff
did
on
his thing.
Instagram. It's just like, bruh, what are you doing? You're a loser. Go sit down in a corner somewhere and go listen to your big brother. Aaron Carter, I could pass on that. He used to be so cool as a kid, but
Man, he's gone through a rough time.
he has. And you know what? Everybody around him keep winning and he's losing. Because my girlfriend, Hillary Duff,
No.
I've met her.
That's my girlfriend.
Now, you in a relationship, 12
I
years.
love Hillary Duff.
13 years relationship. Wow. Hillary Duff, more beautiful in person than in photos. Trust me, Danny. She just got a role in a remake of How I Met Your Mother, one of my favorite sitcoms.
They're doing a remake already?
Yeah,
It's a
with Hillary
spin-off.
Duff.
Didn't that just end?
And in 2013, yes. Around the same time Breaking Bad ended, yes.
Yep.
And I have an issue with that. It's like they make too many Spider-Man movies. Like,
Nah, they can make as many Spider-Man as long as Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
I mean, he does do a good job. But
Great job.
They just be spinning it back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
And they're all great.
Well, they
They're
waited
good.
here. They waited.
Yeah, but it's just like too fast for me. I don't know what it is. It's just like y'all giving me too much. But How I Met Your Mother, they could have gave it 10 years. They could have gave it 10. We're only 2 years off of it being off the air for 10
I'm
years.
telling you, man, TV's struggling.
They're not struggling. We're in the golden age of television. But
Then they wouldn't be having to remake old television shows to be able to come back.
you just don't realize that there's a lot of original TV being made, and ultimately it is a business. Them original shows don't slap the same way as
They're not getting picked up.
they're getting picked up, but people ain't watching it. If you think about it, Keenan got a show. Who greenlighted this?
SNL.
Keenan. I don't even know if it's on NBC. Oh, it's on Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Yeah, that's NBC
It's
Network.
only
Yeah.
on Peacock.
I
Probably
think
on, it's probably on.
I think it's on
It's on,
NBC.
it's on NBC. It's on NBC. It's after Young Rock.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
TV died after TGIF died.
I gotta cancel my HBO Max. Remind me.
make sure you cancel that HBO Max.
Listen, man.
I hear HBO Max is king right now, though.
I only use it to watch the Godzilla movie.
Which one? Which movie?
The Godzilla movie.
You're not
that good?
watching Mortal Kombat?
I'll probably watch that and then cancel it.
I heard that Mortal Kombat movie was struggling.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard good things and bad things.
I'm gonna go into it with no expectations though, because if it's anything like the 90s Mortal Kombat
Yo,
movie,
that was terrible. I don't think it's gonna be like that, but
Would you snuggle up a little something and watch a Mortal Kombat movie?
depends on who I'm snuggling with.
is that a movie you snuggle up to watch Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, because you know it's gonna be bad.
I don't think I think it'll be all right.
Really?
From the trailer, it looked decent.
Are we doing
It's a video game movie. I'm not gonna no expectations.
No, ladies love Mortal Kombat. I feel it.
Go ahead.
No, they do. Like they know who Liu Kang is.
And video game stuff can be really good.
It depends, but there's like
No, that Sonic Hedgehog.
Sonic was a great movie.
Yeah,
I think
hit different.
Sonic was a heavy hitter.
You should have. That's
But
the one you should have.
the Super Mario movie, the
I mean, it's also who does it, because
the Need for Speed movie,
The Witcher that turned into
the Witcher show is great.
That's awesome, right?
But that
used
has
to
a
be video
whole
game.
mess of lore. It has a whole mess of books. It has a whole. It wasn't a
Okay,
video game.
but it's
it was
still a
book.
video
Hold on,
game
hold
that
on.
turned into a.
What was the Witcher? The one
The
with the white
Witcher.
hair? The guy
The
with
white
white
hair.
It's sick.
No, that was trash.
No, it was a great.
Wow,
show. It was a
bro!
fantastic
I
show.
don't.
Did you watch it? Yeah, don't watch it.
It was a great.
It was
show.
amazing.
I highly
It's a great
recommend
show.
But there were books first.
I ain't even
And they had a
watch it.
half Indian girl in that show.
Oh, okay, no, it was good. It was good. Then. No, it was good. Damn.
So who's your album though, Aubrey?
Nah, because I know he's not gonna make summer music.
I think a future album would be hot.
Future put an album out every week.
That's facts.
The Migos,
Migos is coming. They coming. Damn, some good outside
Ray
music.
Schmurder.
Ray Schmurder would make a great, but they make spring.
You know
break
who-
music.
hey,
they make spring break music.
Can I rewind? I know whose album I want to come out. Bobby Schmurder. Bobby Schmurder's summertime album.
Damn, the murders is going up. Oh, I know. Kodak.
Kodak.
I need a Kodak album. I know he came out with one last year, but I need one that's just like for the streets.
I think Bobby Schmurder is gonna have a hot summer.
Because right now we've been having a lot of ladies coming out. Cardi came out, Saweetie came out, homegirl,
Megan.
Megan.
Megan came out. Doja's hot right now. It's like, okay, the ladies is having their time, but for the fellas, they got to drop something real disrespectful.
You want a Meek album?
Hell no, man. Come on.
Wow.
I'm good on Meek, man. I don't need somebody yelling at me throughout the rest of the summer. I'm my boss. I got it. Thank you. I'm good. I think I could use a Rick Ross album.
Huh.
Oh,
Or Kendrick. Kendrick got to drop something.
Kendrick
Kendrick
hasn't
would be
dropped
fire.
something in a while.
Kendrick would be fire.
I'm so dumb. I know who I need. I need a Rihanna album.
All right.
Rihanna, did Rihanna still make music?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she just makes makeup.
Nah, the next one's about to be like a
Reggae.
reggae album.
Dancehall album.
I'm all
That'd be
about
hot.
it. That's summer right there.
Yeah. It's like, imagine the vibes. Like you're in the backyard. You got somebody in some Jesus slippers
Go ahead.
making
Yes.
the wiener schnitzels. Okay, and then they turn the hot dogs. That's it. And then
Wiener shit. That was weird.
I got COVID brain.
You thought of that first.
And then you turn on some Rihanna, the fellas start dancing with the other fellas, and then the other ladies come in, and it's all like lit.
Orange sodas flowing.
The white guy grilling is like,
Yo.
Travis, who's
Hey,
this?
Can you imagine Can you imagine some ice cold orange crush?
Ooh. So cactus cooler.
You know what I miss? July 4th party.
Ooh.
A July 4th party this year gotta go crazy.
You think July 4th is gonna go lit this year, or is it gonna be
I had a
you can
nice
only
time
have
last year.
5?
I had a great July 4th last year.
I don't remember what the hell I did.
I was in my neighborhood, and the whole neighborhood,
Oh, yeah, lit up.
they came out, they put chairs on the sidewalk, and they just went nuts with the fireworks. The dogs were out there. None of them was scared. They were like, yo, this is lit out
That's
here.
crazy.
And then after that, like, it was, you know those days where, like, the weather's perfect. It was like that. The sun went down. I went in. I watched Hamilton. That thing was...
He's American. He's American.
I watched Hamilton, yo. I watched
Yikes.
Hamilton with the dog. And I was like, this movie's
Yikes.
mad long. But I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it because it just felt like the community was there. Like the whole neighborhood was lit.
He went straight. He said my 4th of July was great.
I thought it was
I watched
great.
fireworks with my neighbors
Yeah.
and watched Hamilton.
I felt amazing.
And he's
I
about
felt-
to have a hot
He's
boy
complete.
summer.
Now, you know what? I thought I was about to have a hot boy summer. I think I'm taking that back.
You about to have
Go
a
ahead.
suburban summer.
I really am. You know why? Because somebody told me earlier today that they was messing with somebody that was tested positive for something. And I was like, I ain't trying to get no bumperdaliuses up in here.
But why would that be different from any other year?
I'm trying to get married.
I support you, bro.
You don't think I can get married?
I said I support you.
I was talking to Sam.
Do I think you could get married? I think you could do whatever you put your mind to.
It's legal now.
Do I think?
Stupid.
Do I think you will get married anytime soon? No.
Oh, okay. All right. Watch me catch a kid.
That's worse than a bumping alias.
I want to be a dad though. I be seeing 10 years ago, it used to be like, oh my gosh, somebody got married. Somebody had a kid in LA. Holy crap, right? Now, everybody got a kid, and I feel left out.
I'm good with it.
Wait, so you saying you
That's
gonna
one
give up
club,
your V
I'm
card?
okay.
That's just my answer.
Who getting that card though?
Post-marriage, though.
Who's getting the card?
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Who's getting the card? Chloe.
Julianne Moore.
Now we got to see. Oh, Julianne Moore.
What about Chloe?
And if Julianne Moore read me back first.
What about J Lo?
Damn, J-Lo been passed around, though. Wow.
You dumb as hell, bro. You the dumbest person on the planet.
What about Corinne Fox?
Corinne Fox is definitely wifey type. She definitely is. Like, she's smart. She got a good job. Her dad's Jamie Foxx. Like, she's a beautiful girl. Like, that right there, Corinne Fox, yo, hit me out, man. Slide in the DMs. I got a good job, man. Trust me.
Yo,
Yeah, I seen somebody make
Instagram makes everybody feel like they could date a movie star now.
Yo, and I'm not. What am I? Trash?
Next question.
I'm so there for Corinne Fox. I love her.
Hey, I would love to be best man at that wedding.
Man, I'm gonna get you. I don't know, like, cause it's kind of packed. You know, COVID.
Yeah. A limited amount of people.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be a waiter. I don't
We're
care.
only allowed to have like 5 people up in there.
Right.
And then Corinne got a big family.
Yeah.
That's true.
I haven't DM'd Corinne in a long time.
Yo.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, it's about to be lit this summer. I hope somebody drops something that I'm gonna be going crazy too. I feel like there's this energy inside of myself, not necessarily outside.
You gonna head out to any of these festivals that start going back up?
You know what, man? To be honest with you, I would feel a little uneasy because of COVID jumping into something that has like 100,000 people. I know I don't know. I just feel I can take my time to jump into something that has a whole bunch of people. Like,
I would also be uneasy if they would charge me to go to these festivals.
and what?
Oh, you just don't want
I
to
just
pay
don't
this
feel
summer?
comfortable.
You financially distressed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that though.
But you
Because of
started a new
COVID.
job, con ganas.
But it's because of COVID, I don't feel comfortable spending my money.
Oh, okay.
All these
I get it.
festivals.
I would wait just a little bit more time before I get into like some of these big events. You know, I don't know if COVID made me into a little punk or something like that, but I don't know.
Don't blame COVID on COVID.
That's true. It's COVID. It's COVID. Would you go to a festival right now?
So I think I'm too old for that kind of stuff.
You're
and what
not.
I mean by that is like all my money that I would be spending towards those type of extracurriculars, I want to spend traveling.
Ooh,
All my money's
where you trying
gone.
to go?
I'm trying to use my passport.
Where you
I'm trying to
go?
get stamps.
Where you trying to go?
Somewhere tropical.
I want to go to
I'm
Iceland.
with you. Ooh, Iceland seemed nice. That's
I
the
want
place with the grass.
I want to be in Jamaica, man.
Jamaica?
Yeah.
Damn, I could eat a beef patty right now.
Ooh.
I found a dope Jamaican spot near the crib.
What's it called?
I don't even know. I got it on Uber Eats.
Man, that's racist of you to not know. You didn't even think about it.
Hey, I ordered them patties
It
though.
was fire, huh?
Way better than the.
Relax.
I know exactly what you gonna say. I know exactly what you gonna say.
I don't like to say where
Hey,
I'm
man,
getting
I
from.
love those
Bree out there
patties.
talking a little too much. I was trying to show you guys a little something.
I love those patties, bro.
It was fire.
Hey,
to me.
I was
just
with you when you bought 'em.
Authentic Jamaican patties are way better than what was at the what were we celebrating? Easter.
All right, relax, man. I'm Caribbean myself. I know what it tastes like. I definitely want to do some traveling, but you are not too old to be going to them festivals. Trust me.
I don't know, man. Like, so when it comes to festivals, I just feel like all the extra stuff I'm just not with anymore, man. Like, just the wilding out, like multiple days. Like,
Sweating.
I like sleeping too much.
Sweating. The sweat for me is the issue.
Even when I went to, and this was like a year ago, I went to Vegas. And Vegas is different. Like, we tried to go to the club, and I was ready to go home at like 12:31. And usually that's when we started. Like, that's when we get into the thing.
I couldn't do clubs after like 21.
Yeah, well, you know what? My life was in the club. Like, I was in the club all the time. But now my priorities have shifted. Like, what I find fun is different now. Like, I really enjoy conversations. I enjoy, like,
you can't have conversations.
Yeah.
So you trying to get married?
Period.
No.
Put it out there.
Sure. I will. I would if I'm not opposed to it, but I enjoy like more different things now.
You want me to find somebody for you?
Sure.
I got a nice thing that I was talking to all weekend long.
TING. Oh, you trying to pass?
Oh, I see
you trying to pass the cheap on the left hand side?
No, it should be good for you.
Yeah, it's good.
Would you? You would.
Tell me what
I wouldn't.
What would I do?
We talked about this before. Would you date somebody that your boy's been with?
Ooh, you see, date is different. That's a different thing. Would I date a person or would I like entertain them? What are you saying?
Like, would you be in a relationship with somebody that your friend has been in a relationship with?
They've been in a relationship with them?
Let's say not even. Let's say had a situation with.
Oh, no, probably not.
Entanglement.
No, I'm good on that.
But if they were in a relationship, you'd be good?
I'm good on that.
So, but would you have an entanglement with somebody that your boys had an entanglement with?
No, probably not. No. Like,
would you entertain somebody that your boys entertained?
Entertained as in like they just had the thing one time, one night?
Sure.
Okay, I would then talk to my friend if I was that interested in that person. If I was like, oh man, I really want to, and I have an open relationship with my two like guy friends that would be a situation with. But it hasn't been like that in like 7 years or 8 years. Right? So like as of right now, like there's just so much fish in the sea. Like I don't see that why I would need to bring that up. But nah, I wouldn't. Probably not. No.
Okay. Neither would I, so I don't want
Years ago, maybe that would have been a thing. Like I remember me and Frank liked the same girl, you know, and I was like, "Oh, Frank, you mind if I talk to her?" He was like, "Who am I to stop love?"
Frank is a super confident dude.
Oh man, I mean, he's Frank, you know. Red man, same type of thing. Like, oh, you mind if I talk to her? Yeah, no, go ahead. Like our friends, we know who to not ask about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had to ask about them, then and you know not to ask about them, then we got issues. But if it's somebody like you talked to them one time a year ago, and then that was it, and then I saw them at the store or something, and I don't know, like I would just ask, you know. But at this age right now, I just feel like it's not really necessary. I think at a younger age, you look at what your friends got and you kind of can get jealous, or you can see like what they see in that person or whatever. But at my age now, like, I could get whatever I want anyway.
Yo, my boy back in the day used to be so upset with me because I would never like do anything with anybody that he's done something with, and he would get so upset to the point like he wouldn't tell me. Like one time I ended up like whatever with this one girl, and then after everything happened, he told me, "Oh, I've been with her too," and I was like, "Ew."
I mean, I don't think it's ill, but
I do. I just feel like I don't know. To me, I'm not about that life.
I don't know if it's ill, but you know, people have feelings, and even for me, like I would have certain feelings about certain things. I don't know. Just a conversation needs to be had. For me, that's all that needs to happen. But if it's only that serious, you know, because like there's plenty of people around, dude. There's plenty of people around. And if I don't know and then something happened and then you tell me, I wouldn't be ill. I would just be like, oh, that's crazy. How was it? Did she do this to you? because that's what she did to me, and that was it. That'd be it. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna probably get married.
I feel you.
He gonna go straight from no dating to marriage.
Yeah, man.
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
I want like I'm gonna speak. I want like a real cool kid. That's what I want.
So you ain't even worried about the wife. What the wife's like, he just straight thinking about what the kid's gonna be like.
Do you need a wife? I could just go right down to the store, get me a cool kid.
Wow,
that's wrong. That's 100% false.
Okay.
Who you think gets married first, you or Chris?
Oh, Chris never get married.
I don't know.
Nah, Chris.
Does Chris' girl know he never get married?
Yeah, she knows. She been celebrating a relationship for 25 years already.
That's false again. I don't know where you
I remember one
facts.
time she came to me. She was like, "This is our like 10-4 anniversary." I was like, "How you even know what the substance is?"
It's the 10th anniversary. It's
How long?
10.
How long do you think?
Oh, I didn't even put
Come
that
on,
thing.
son. Read a book.
I didn't
All right?
even know.
It's in the Bible.
I never even got to the toilet paper anniversary.
Yeah, come on.
I ain't even
Hey,
got to that one.
how long could you be with the girl before you have to?
Married?
Yeah. How long can you guys just be dating?
Oh, I need a couple years. I need at least 2 years.
No, but I'm saying.
So far, 12.
But what? How old were you guys when you got together?
15, 14.
See, I think that's
Like
different.
15.
I think that's different because like you guys have never really felt. I mean, that's all of your formative years, so it feels like what life is. Like maybe marriage doesn't change anything because when you've been with somebody for that long, like what really changes other than government stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Would you get married to her?
Yeah.
All right. She right there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He said yes.
Yes.
She said she don't want you to mess up.
How long do you think you could pull it off, Kobe?
Pull what off?
Staying with someone without getting married.
I would need like 2 years. There's a couple things I
You're
need to
not
check.
answering the question that I'm asking.
Okay, ask it again.
I'm not saying how long do you need to be with somebody before you marry them. Okay. I'm saying how long could you be with somebody and still not be married, and like how long could you pull that off before the girl's like, nah, you either do this or you out. Or we
Well,
done.
you see, that's not my goal. Like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I think that's a good question for 6 years ago, where I was into time wasting, maybe, But now I have a different goal where it's like, okay, I set aside time to build stuff for me. Right now that stuff is in the making of being built. All right, now I'm gonna go back and get whatever it is that I didn't really focus on. But again, like I told you, I'm not trying to get the bumps. So I'm not trying to be in it.
That's also a good reason.
Yo, all these reasons why he wants to get married are I ain't trying to get the bumps. I'm gonna
write that down.
It has nothing to do with love or support or like anything. It has to do with I don't want to get an STD.
Facts.
And I want to have a kid.
I do want to have a kid.
Literally, those are the two reasons why you want to get married.
But we could combine incomes.
I gotta write that down in the shit Kelby says file.
Get me a nice little nurse.
Oh man!
Put me right on your health insurance.
Yo, hey, you gonna be first in line for the jab. First in line for the jab.
I mean, love, cool and all, but Chris heard last week or 2 weeks ago when this girl said, "Yeah, my mama's advice to me was to marry for money."
Yeah.
So what you think I'm supposed to prioritize you because you looking at me for money? I'm looking at you for health insurance.
Hey man, sounds like a healthy relationship to me.
What you know about that?
Nothing.
You trying to get married?
I mean, if that's in the cards, I would love to be married.
Well, what kind of games you playing with them cards?
I don't play games.
I see you playing that blackjack.
That was elite. That was elite. That was elite. That was elite.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely multiple reasons. I also feel like, I don't know, man. Everything I thought I was gonna feel when I turned like immediately after 29.
Go ahead. 29.2.
Yeah, no, it was like 29.01. Oreo. That's a phone joke. That's an Android joke for people. I started feeling like, okay, I want different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been a club guy, so I never was like trying to go to the club and find the latest things. I did that once with Chris, and it was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And then some of the girls that I like Chris more, and I was like, it's Chris.
Wow, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I think we told the story on that.
I know, but still, I don't know why he needed to bring it up again and put it in that same phrase. So here's my question. I think you're at the. Yeah. I think if you want to get married, you're at the perfect time too.
No, not yet. I need to make just $100,000.
But let me not financially or anything. I'm talking about age wise, because you're still at the age where you can, find women. I think that are like
22.
Age, not necessarily age. Well, I'm just saying, like, eventually, like, once you start getting older and older, you start dealing with like people. You start meeting people that already have been in, maybe marriages before, have kids. You're gonna be able to still be like somebody's first.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Marriage.
Plus, I'm black, so I'm kind of pretty much like 25-ish in skin.
Yeah, you good.
You know what I'm saying?
For a while.
I thought he was about to say he's just the in thing right now.
That's a fact too. You ever seen them commercials? They got black people driving Lexuses.
Yup.
I know them white people said, I'm never buying a Lexus ever again.
Wow.
There's a guy with nappy hair driving that E3 500.
Wow.
So
that's
yes,
terrible.
Yes, you're right. When was the age when you find like people that you like look different?
What?
In what way?
I'll give it to you like this. So at like 28 or 29, I remember being like, damn, there's a clear difference between a 24-year-old woman and a 28-year-old woman. Just like from a distance. It was just like, damn, there's a big old difference. And that's 4 years.
Uh-huh.
When did that ever happen to you? Like when you saw the difference? I know you shaking your head like you feel me, right? Like I'm not crazy. I remember talking to Redmond about this like, damn, when did that happen?
Yeah, I don't remember a specific time, but I know what you're talking about.
It's like a difference.
Maybe in college.
You ain't even go to no college.
I went to 2 years, bro.
Not in college.
Not in college. Because in college, they all have that youthful vigor.
No. I'm not saying just the women in college. I said I was in college when I
think
noticed.
I think 26 to 30 is like
the same,
better than 21 to 25.
Okay, I had this conversation with myself this weekend when I was in that place, and the 20-year-old or the 19-year-old, however old she was, looked me up and down, and I just looked at her and I was like, damn, your skin just young, like something about this is off, like you're just too young.
But I think that's a generational thing, right? Because I think beauty is going to be different. We're coming into a generation where women are seeing beauty through lenses, right? Through filters and stuff like that.
That's true. Because
when we were growing up, like natural beauty was actually something that was talked about, right? Yeah. Like you were beautiful without makeup. Like that was more. Now it's like
sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup.
Right now it's all about Brazilian butt lifts and like this surgery and that surgery, and make sure you're only taking pictures from this angle. Like you could literally go on people's like Facebook pages or social media and all their pictures are from one angle. Back when I was growing up, like we got to see multiple angles of like the same girl. Like they would take pictures. It didn't matter what side they were taking a picture from. Now it's all from the God view, right? Like everybody's taking pictures from that because supposedly that's what makes you look the slimmest or whatnot.
It's true. But you know what's interesting? At that event on Friday night, somebody gave me their phone and was like, yo, can you take a picture of me? And I was like, damn, what kind of camera is on this? Is this because you got an iPhone 2? And she was like, no, I just don't take pictures without a filter. And she looked at me like I was dumb. I wanted to throw the phone on the ground. That's what you mean. Just open up the regular camera app. She was like, ew, so that people could see me?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is the point of this picture, ma'am?
So she could look. She was like, I just need a little airbrushing, and the filter's going to give me an eyeshadow.
Hey, can I tell you, dating, like, is different now, too. Like, like, when I was dating maybe a few years ago or whatnot, when I was, like, actively dating a lot more, it was weird because every single girl would want me to take some kind of video for their Snapchat or for their Instagram or whatever it was. Like, it was like planned. It's like, how did I, like, let's walk, can you take me walking this way? Or like in my car, they're play this song. Like, it was weird. Like,
I've seen it.
It's like just a different mentality versus like, let's talk or let's, I mean,
like, the thing is though, like, they're not going to ask you to do that the whole date, though.
But I'm saying, like, that was never, like, taking pictures on a date, like, I don't think was ever a thing. Do you remember taking pictures on a first date before? Like,
I have taken people's pictures on a date before. And I just figured.
Recently or back in the day?
No, like, maybe like 4 years ago.
Oh,
like,
wow.
within the last 4 years or 5 years or so. I remember I went somewhere and this girl was like, walking on the side. Like, she was like, yo, can you just take me walking from the back? I was like, just like, what you mean, like walking? Are we walking towards the goal? She was like, no, I'm just gonna be walking. Like, you can see my legs. I was like, okay, got it. So I started doing it, and she was like, give me my phone. You ain't even know my angles. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go home.
You know what? I'm good.
Yeah,
but that's crazy, right? Because people are planning. Because it's more important about how I could record this moment for my Instagram versus how can I actually be in this moment and experience this moment.
It is what it is. I mean, those are the things you got to put up with.
But hey, that's the type of wedding you trying. That's the type of wifey you about to choose from.
I actually don't think that's gonna happen to me though.
Okay.
I think that the person that I'm gonna marry probably next year or so is.
I feel you.
Is he gonna be Haitian?
I don't know. Whoever the big man sends for me, man. But
Your mama wants her to be Haitian, though.
I think my mom wants her to have a lot of money.
That's a fact.
Actually, that's what my mom wants. My dad is just like, yo, I mean, she got to be Haitian. But my mom is like, yo, what's her credit score? So, yeah. But I think that I look for very specific things. And
so she definitely not gonna be Haitian.
All right, now we gonna end.
Good.
All right, y'all good?
Fantastic. I have to go to the store.
And your wife sent you?
Yeah.
He didn't get married. All right, y'all. All right, this was a good episode. I appreciate the conversation. It felt real good.
It's amazing.
We are men on the internet.
Mwah.
Go ahead.
That needs to be done.
Make that a drop.
Yeah. I'll program it right now.
It was good. I loved that we were able to go from serious and not so serious. Please follow us on the at MOI podcast or MOI on Instagram. And we're gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be a new channel though, right?
Cool. Brand new, dedicated.
We gotta do our ad. We gotta do our ad thing, but that's fine. We'll do it next week. All right. And until then, I'll catch you guys.